Good morning to all of you, and welcome to this workshop of Zero Mission Community. And we are organizing this workshop with the objective of reaching zero pollution. Smart cities are part of the answer, and the actions started to reduce pollution. This answer integrates the entire society, and smart cities are the result of the increasingly dramatic need of moving towards sustainability. These cities need infrastructure, technologies to reduce energy consumption and the emissions of CO2 in our households, in the transportation means. Today we will focus on Smarter Together. This project has been led by FEUGA and the City Council of Santiago to guarantee the transfer of knowledge and the creation of business models of smart cities and the innovation focused on the user. The coordinator, Etienne Vignali from Lyon Conference, will show the results obtained. Thank you very much and welcome. So let's start with our first guest, who is going to talk about smart cities and people participation towards efficiency and inclusiveness. So we have Almudena Justo. She comes from FEUGA. She's the director of the Innovation and EU Programs Department.
Okay, good morning again, everybody. My name is Almudena Justo. I'm the Director of Innovation and EU Programs at FEUGA, the Galician Enterprise University Foundation. I'm going to explain you briefly the new funding opportunities for smart cities in Horizon Europe. So first of all, let me introduce my entity. We are a private non-profit foundation with more than 30 years of experience fostering technology transfer between the university, industry, and society. So we are experts in innovation management, experts in communication, dissemination, IP, and exploitation of R&D results. Here you are, our main services connected to innovation and IP management, also project management for EU projects. We also have services related to communication and dissemination, the development of communication and dissemination strategies and materials. We develop also training in innovation management. We also help our customers in strategic positioning in Europe, and we also organize events at different levels, conferences, congresses, EU parliamentary sessions, and so on. So for that purpose, we have a multidisciplinary team covering different scientific and technical fields, as well as communication and IP. Some of our experts are also European Commission external experts. So we have deep knowledge about EU funding programs and a wide network of contacts at EU level. Our headquarters is located in Santiago de Compostela in Galicia, but we also have an office in Vigo and an office in Brussels. So considering FEUGA activity, our value proposition as knowledge and technology transfer entity is to connect the university with the industry and enhance the collaboration through different pilot sites and living labs, considering also social aspects and enhancing co-creation as well through multi-actor approach methodologies. So Following this approach, in particular, in our region, we have a deep knowledge of the Galician innovation ecosystem. And we foster Galician partners' participation in EU projects through calls identification, the participation in EU events, and the networking building. So now I'm going to show you some of our success stories. Here you are the projects where we participate as innovation manager, as partner in charge of communication, dissemination, and IP. Most of them we participate as partner. In a couple of projects we are involved as a third party or subcontractor. And now other EU projects with the Galician cities participation. We have here the Connecting Nature, co-production with Nature for City Transitioning, Innovation and Governance, with the participation of A Coruña City. We also have the Smarter Together project, as you know, Smart and Inclusive Solutions for Better Life in Urban Districts, with the participation of Santiago de Compostela City. Also the PLEC project, planning for energy efficient cities, where Santiago de Compostela City participate too, and the C-Mobile with the participation of Vigo. So now I'm going to explain you briefly how we help the Santiago de Compostela City Council to join the Smarter Together project. So first of all, we identified in October 2014 the call SCC 01-2015, Smart Cities and Community Solutions, integrating energy, transport, and ICT sectors through Lighthouse projects. We identified this call. We held a meeting with the person in charge in Santiago de Compostela City Council to know if they could be interested in joining our proposal for this topic. And as they show their interest, we decided to attend the Info Day in Brussels. So there we found an opportunity, a coordinator looking for cities to join a proposal. So both the municipality and FEUGA joined this proposal, this initiative, and we submitted the proposal in May 2015. We received the results in September, and the project started in March 2016. The duration was 60 months, so the project will finish now in July. So the key message here is that if you are looking for partners for a smart cities project or other related initiatives, please don't hesitate to contact us, as we could provide one of our cities in Galicia. So now we are going to analyze the European Commission challenges related to smart cities for the new funding period 2021-2027, I mean to the within the Horizon Europe. And I would like to highlight that European Commission has created the Climate Neutral and Smart Cities Mission to support, promote and showcase 100 European cities in their systemic transformation towards climate neutrality by 2030. So don't forget that there are just 5 missions to solve major societal challenges that are those fighting cancer, adapting to climate change, protecting our oceans, living in greener cities, and ensuring soil health and food. So it gives us an idea of the relevance of smart cities for the European Commission focusing on climate neutrality. I'm going to show you now the European Commission video for this smart cities mission.
no estamos viéndolo. ¿Está la pantalla parada?
We cannot see it and we cannot hear it.
Lo voy a quitar entonces.
Okay, I will stop it then.
Well, anyway, you have it here, so if someone wants to have a look to it, you can look it in YouTube. Okay, it's really short and nice to show the relevance of this mission. Okay, so now having a look to Horizon Europe, to Pillar 2, we find several topics in the different clusters connected to smart cities. We are going to analyze them now. And here you are in cluster 1 and cluster 2. Please take into account that this is just a draft version. So hopefully we will have the final version published by the European Commission in a couple of weeks. So minor changes could appear, okay? So in cluster 1, we have 3 topics for this year about environment and health, exposure to electromagnetic fields, indoor air quality and health, and the health impacts of climate change, costs and benefits of action and inaction. We also have in cluster 2, culture, creativity, and inclusive society, 3 topics for next year, 2 transformation and 1 heritage, about socioeconomic effects on aging societies, public policies and indicators for well-being and sustainable development. And the last one in heritage, the new European Bauhaus, shaping a greener and fairer way of life and in creative and inclusive societies through architecture, design, and arts. It is really relevant, the connection between the new European Bauhaus initiative and the smart cities projects. Also in cluster 3, civil security for society, we have 3 topics for the next year: network-based solutions integrated to protect local infrastructure, enhance situational awareness and preparedness of first responders, and improve capacities. And the last one, public spaces and protected while respecting privacy and avoid mass surveillance. In cluster 4, digital industry and space, we also have 3 twin transition topics and 1 human and 1 space. Deploying industrial urban symbiosis solutions for the utilization of energy, water, industrial waste and byproducts at regional scale. We also have in transition circular flows for solid waste in urban environment and hubs for circularity. And in human, for this year, we have the coordination and support action, testing innovative solutions on local communities' demand, and in a space also a Copernicus and Galileo topic. I would like to mention that you have here the person in charge in my team of this topic. So if you're looking for any collaboration, please don't hesitate to contact my colleagues, Eugenia, Karan, and Carmen. In cluster 5, you can contact Nuria Rodriguez, and we have topics in several destinations, destination 2, 3, 5, and 6. We have the co-funded partnership, driving urban transitions to a sustainable future. We have the Civitas 2030. Also, the new generation of full electric urban and peri-urban bus rapid transit systems to strengthen climate-friendly mass transport. We have in destination 6, predictive safety assessment framework and safer urban environment for vulnerable road users, the urban logistics and planning. We have another topic about accelerating the deployment of new and shared mobility services for the next decade, and the new delivery methods and business and or operating models to green the last mile and optimize road transport. We also have in Destination 5 the system approach to achieve optimized smart EV charging. And finally, in Destination 3, connected to energy, we have the market uptake measures of renewable energy systems, reinforcing digitalization related know-how of local energy ecosystem. Another topic about the development of hydropower equipment. And finally, the demonstration of innovative plug-and-play solutions for system management and renewable storage in off-grid applications. And finally, in cluster 6, you can contact my colleague Dario, or directly you can contact me. And we have several circular bioeconomy topics about circular cities, the Circular Cities and Regions Initiative. We have the Circular Cities and Regions Initiative Project Development Assistance that we have it in 2021 and also in 2022. And finally, in this last cluster, the top communities topic about smart solutions for smart rural communities, empowering rural communities and smart villages. So that's all. Thank you very much for your attention. And just to say that if you are looking for a potential collaboration in these topics, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much.
Muchísimas gracias, Almudena. Muchísimas gracias por compartir todas.
Thank you very much, Almudena, for sharing all these initiatives that you are developing to promote smart cities. And we would like to encourage all of you who are wishing to contact FEUGA to collaborate on further projects, initiatives to boost smart cities. That's why, as you gave us this general context of what you're doing, we are going to focus now on what Smart Together is. So we are going to ask Etienne Vignali from Lyon, who is going to introduce this Smart Together project. He's going to talk about the objectives and achievements of the project, and he's going to introduce the Lighthouse city, which is Lyon. And Etienne, you have the floor whenever you're ready.
Thank you. You should see normally my slide. That's fine. It's in full screen on your side. Yeah. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Etienne Vignali. I work for a French urban developer. So it's a company called the SPL Lyon Confluence. It's a private company with the public authorities that are the shareholders. And we are in charge of making a urban project that you can see on the picture. I will give you an overview of how this European project Smarter Together, in which we have been collaborating with during the last 5 years with many partners, and in particular the city of Santiago de Compostela and FEUGA, what this project has brought to our urban project in Lyon, and what progress we made thanks to this project. And I will finish by also give you some information about what could be the possible next step for us. So I'm just starting with a few figures and few elements on context in order that you can understand how this Smarter Together project intervene. So the Lyon Confluence urban project, it's a district of the city of Lyon. Lyon, it's an urban area of 1 million inhabitants. approximately, and we are, thanks to the Lyon Confluence Urban Project, doubling the size of the city center. So maybe you can see my mouse. The historic center and Lyon Confluence, it's an area of 150 hectares, and half of the area you can see in the green part, it's the historic neighborhood that is more or less safe-kept. And in pink and blue, it's former logistical and industrial areas replaced by new public spaces, new construction, social housing, private housing, shops, office spaces, public facilities. Overall, it's 1 million square meters to be built. And this Lyon Confluence Urban Project is well advanced because we started at the end of the 90s, and the end is planned for 2030. It's not, this urban project is not only about building new construction or making new public spaces. Is also, since the beginning, it has a strong feature about sustainable development. The idea is to take the opportunity of this large territory to experiment and test new things, or to try to be to make regular progress in order possibly to reproduce it elsewhere in other urban projects, in particular other urban projects in Lyon. So for that, we learned a lot and we benefited a lot from many partnerships. So it can be local partnership, can be national partnership or international partnerships, such as European project. You can see that actually our first European project goes back 15 years ago. And Smarter Together, it's one of these urban projects, but Smarter Together actually, what we achieve in Smarter Together, it's also thanks to previous lesson learned from other projects. So I'm just going to show you now, so maybe a bit of general information of Smarter Together. So Smarter Together is the name of a consortium that gathers in particular 3 cities, so the so-called Lighthouse cities, so Lyon, Munich in Germany, Vienna in Austria, and 3 fellow cities, Santiago de Compostela in Spain, Venice in Italy, and Sofia in Bulgaria. All these cities and all the other partners are working on 5 main topics: topic of citizen engagement, the topic of increasing the renewable energy sources in urban areas, so mostly thanks to district heating and photovoltaic, increasing the renovation or the energy retrofitting of buildings, developing or using or increasing the use of urban data platform, and developing new electric mobility services. So it's more than 30 partners from 8 countries. So we have cities, we have association, we have industrial partners, research institute, and so on. Most of the logos are on this slide. So for Lyon, and to come back to the Lyon Confluence Urban Project, thanks to Smarter Together, we have developed a district heating system powered at 2/3 with renewable energy. So namely it's biomass, and it's also the heating coming from waste incineration. So Smarter Together provide us financial support to fund part of the works. So the construction of the pipes, the substation, and also the time spent for connecting and convincing buildings to be connected to the district heating system. So that's an increase in the use of renewable energy in the neighborhood. So of course, it's only a part of the energy consumed. And the other side of the renewable energy, it's the photovoltaic. So we started to install photovoltaic installation in the neighborhood actually 15 years ago. So there's in a way nothing new with Smarter Together, but with 5 new photovoltaic installation done with Smarter Together, we have doubled the photovoltaic production in the area. So today we have more than 2 megawatts. It's almost 40 installation, and the 5 new photovoltaic installation developed in Smarter Together, it's actually 1 megawatt more. And we plan in the coming years to have 1 additional megawatt also with the new photovoltaic installation already confirmed. So you have few pictures. At the top right, it's an installation on the rooftop of a gym hall, so an existing building. On the left side, it's installation put on the rooftop of new buildings. And on the left, bottom left, it's installation on the rooftop of refurbished buildings. So you can see that it's either public facilities, either office spaces, either mixed-use block, namely housing or office spaces. Regarding, I was telling you at the beginning that half of the area, it's historic neighborhood, so old buildings, some of them built in the 19th century or beginning of the 20th century. And with Smarter Together, we made a lot of progress. We accelerated significantly the pace of the energy retrofitting of buildings in the area. Here you can see all the projects that are either finished, either for which the works are in progress. So it's almost 20 projects, 70,000 square meters, and we address all type of buildings. We don't have individual houses in the neighborhood, but otherwise we have private housing, buildings belonging to private group of owners. We have social housing blocks, we have office spaces and public facilities. And out of these 70,000 square meters, confirmed or done as a retrofitted building, 50,000 square meters have been done with Smarter Together. So there is nothing new regarding the way we want to address energy retrofitting of buildings, but like for the renewable energy, these European projects allow us to accelerate strongly the pace of the renovation. So it's still a small part of the existing building, but it's a part that is growing. And we have been able to, thanks to also additional funding, to really trigger new operation and convince building owners to engage in such works in an area which is under heritage protection, so it's not always easy to modify the external aspects of all buildings. Regarding the digital infrastructure or the data platform, Smarter Together help us to collaborate with the city data platform and to collaborate with energy infrastructure or mobility services or building owners to try to put in place some meters and some digital infrastructure to monitor and to analyze the actual energy performance of the buildings or the infrastructure after the works, once the work is done, because we know that there are always discrepancy between theoretical calculation in the design phase and real life once the works is finished. So for us, though it's still only a few projects in the neighborhood, it's very important as urban developer to assess what we have done and to see what works well, what works less well, and to continue to make progress in the coming years. So that's another aspect. And I would like to finish by showing you how Smarter Together it's about, or help us to, in particular with additional funding, to trigger or to accelerate some projects. In particular, this picture, it's the retrofitting of a social housing block. But actually, it's always the first step. In our case, by supporting this project of the energy retrofitting of a social housing block, we also built strong bonds with the top management of the social housing operator. And after that, we have been able to enrich this project thanks to citizen-led activities. So we launched a citizen call for projects in the neighborhood by asking anyone who wants to develop a new service, a new activity related to circular economy or related to quality of life in the neighborhood to make a proposal. And we got almost 30 proposals, and we selected 2 projects thanks to also many public and private partners who supported this call for project. And one of these projects is a place that is now taking place on the ground floor of the social housing block, related to handicraft. So it's selling handicraft, but it's also a place to learn how to make homemade stuff. And it's very important for the social housing operator to have such kind of new activity, because it creates connection between the social housing block and the neighborhood. It creates connection between different generations of people, between elderly people and younger people. So it's a small project, but it's a small project that enrich what we have already done, and that has value for the building, but also for the neighborhood. So energy was the starting point, and then the citizen engagement part was not only about informing tenants of the work program, but also bringing value in this social housing block thanks to new activities developed by citizens. What's next? Smarter Together, you can see it's one consortium supported by the Smart Cities and Communities program of the European Commission, but we have almost 20 consortium of this kind. Some of them, like Smarter Together, are finishing this year. Some of them are already finished. Some of them are still in progress because they have started a few years after us. So the European Commission selects us, Lyon Confluence, with a few other partners to be in charge for the next 5 years to coordinate all this network of the Lighthouse Cities program, in order to take the opportunity of this innovation project to go a step further, to connect it with the investors, to try to accelerate the pace of such project related to renewable energy, energy retrofitting, data platform, citizen engagement, and also electric mobility. So the scaling up in a way this innovation project. So Scale, that's the name of our consortium, and it's a new assignment for us, Lyon Confluence, coordinate this network of smart city projects. So I'm finishing my presentation by informing you that we are planning an event on the 1st and 2nd of July. It will take place partly in Lyon. It's mostly an event online. It's called From Positive Energy District to Climate Neutral Cities. And this event will combine partly the final event of Smarter Together. So you will have an overview of the main achievements in Lyon, Munich, Vienna, Santiago, Sofia, and Venice. It's also, we have worked also with 3 other sisters projects, other consortiums similar as Smarter Together with other cities such as London, Milan, San Sebastian, and so on. So we will present common lesson learned or common return on experience. And we are also going to present the scale activities. We plan to have a political session with several political representatives of different European cities. And the idea is to exchange and share with the European Commission also the future of energy communities, topics related to investment, financing and scaling up of projects, and topics related to citizen engagement and smart districts. So if you want to know more about this event, if you want to have the detailed agenda, if you want to register, please feel free afterward to send me an email, and we will be happy to see you or to hear you in the exchange of this event. Thank you very much. I'm done with my presentation. I don't know if somebody has any questions or remark.
Thank you so much, Etienne. Thank you so much for sharing the work that you have been carrying out from a smart city perspective. And also thank you for pointing to the EC's commitment to your work. We We'll now open the channel for our participants to send us their questions at the end of this panel. We are going to address those questions. Now we are going to welcome our next speaker, Rosa Araquistain. Etienne, could you please stop sharing your screen? Thank you. So now we are going to welcome our next speaker, Rosa Araquistain. She comes from the City Council of Santiago de Compostela, and she will speak about a follower city, Santiago de Compostela, its activities and achievements. So Rosa, welcome. You have the floor. Good morning, everybody. I hope that you can all see my presentation. Yes, we can. And we can also hear you just fine. Thanks.
Well, hello, my name is Rosa. I'm going to present the experience of Santiago de Compostela as a follower city in the Smarter Together project. Well, within the Smarter Together project as a follower city, the aim of Santiago was to develop an integrated replication strategy that was the main milestone and deliverable in Work Package 7, defining measures in the lines of action of citizen engagement, holistic refurbishment, renewable energy systems, smart data, and sustainable and intelligent mobility. The follower city of Santiago completed the third period of the project with the deliverable 742 integrated replication strategy within Work Package 7. So the objective was creating a document that gathers a holistic smart city vision and shows the municipality commitment towards a more sustainable city to reach the objectives acquired in the signature of the Covenant of Mayors in 2016. With the reduction of 40% of CO2 emissions by 2030. The strategy presents a selection of replicable measures adapted to the specific needs, challenges, and features of our city. The document is based on two main pillars. We have the local action framework with the current existing plans aligned with the Smarter Together in terms of topics and goals such as Smartiago and the EDUCI. Also, the main challenges and needs the city faces, identified by the local action group. And the other pillar in which the document is based are the outputs, experience, and knowledge acquired during Smarter Together through the demonstration solutions presented in the project books and the wiki, and also the participation in the thematic and peer-to-peer workshops with the project partners. So with this baseline data, the local action group, composed by some municipality departments and together with the linked third party FEUGA, they have the task of setting smart city catalog with selected measures that target those uncovered needs and challenges. Here we can see some of those stakeholders meetings. So to cover, to be lately defined in the local strategy. They set up this smart city catalog that will be developed since month 24 of the project with an internal task timeline that was provided by Energy Cities, defining for each one of the measures the state of the art, the involved stakeholders, the description, challenges faced, and benefits, an external and internal context analysis, a SWOT analysis, business model, implementation plan, set of monitoring indicators, and the main lessons learned from the municipality experts and also the Lighthouse cities. In month 29, it was held an intensive lab session in Santiago to co-review the selection of actions, of measures of the Smart City Catalog with the Lighthouse City experts. And as a result, we had the submission in month 36 of the integrated replication strategy that was politically approved by the local government and presented in the General Assembly in Sofia in March 2019. So, getting into the definition of the strategy, in the field of governance, the selected action was the creation of a Smart City Commission that let introduce the Smart City strategy within the municipality organizational structure. It will act as a flexible and horizontal agent that helps breaking silos and favor the communication between departments. It will also coordinate and interrelate those departments to constantly update and monitor the transversal plans, implying all local governance areas. The second topic is the citizen engagement. The selected measure was the dissemination, communication, and participatory processes in the framework of Smarter Together. The city has the opportunity to replicate the concept of the Urban Living Lab present in the 3 lighthouse cities of Munich, Vienna, and Lyon. And it is planned to be deployed in 1 or 2 residential areas already targeted in terms of refurbishment. And it will focus on the 5 topics of Smarter Together and will display best practices and possibilities of implementation adapted to Santiago. Also collecting always the inhabitants' feedback. Here we have some pictures of the best practices and lessons learned from the lighthouse cities in Lyon, Munich, and Vienna. The third field in the strategy is the holistic eco-refurbishment. The first selected measure funded is the energy retrofit of municipal buildings funded by the EDUSI. It includes the incorporation of energy efficiency measures and renewable energy sources. The main challenge to face will be the heritage protection of most of the municipal buildings that will limit the ways of intervention. Second measure in this field is the monitoring and management of municipal buildings. That includes the incorporation of remote management and monitoring systems for the periodic generation of data for heating, lighting, and electricity consumption, with the aim of creating diagnosis for setting up effective energy efficiency actions. The data collected by these building management systems will be connected to the future urban data platform. Last measure in this topic is the inclusion of renewable energy systems and monitoring systems within the municipality rehabilitation programs and regulation. That means the improvement and update of the present programs, taking eco-refurbishment into account, with the design of new subsidy regulations integrating criteria for renewables and building management systems. Also offering technical advice on smart solutions with a catalog of best practices and creating a roadmap for energy rehabilitations for owners. Here we have some of the best practices and lessons learned from lighthouse cities, in this case Lyon and in Munich, a refurbishment roadmap and consulting for owners with the aim of carrying out refurbishment works. Fourth topic is the renewable energies. Here we have selected actions. The first one is the development of a district heating network with renewable energy supply in consolidated city areas with a pilot project in the district of Pontepedriña in Santiago. The Technological Institute of Galicia carried out a state-of-the-art and feasibility study to do a comparative analysis of the cost effectiveness of all possible renewable energy sources solutions to be applied in this district. The creation of a district heating network with biomass turned to be one of the most feasible solutions, although it presents a high degree of complexity as it would imply works on public space and also in private dwellings. Other action that could be a more suitable alternative is the installation of renewable energy systems for electrical consumption heating in collective residential buildings. That consists on the promotion, financing helps, and technical support in the installation of renewables in communities of owners of the residential sector. This could be a more flexible solution that's the one at district scale, and could be adapted to the annual subsidy programs. The installation of a collective water heat pump at block scale resulted to be the most sustainable and cost-effective measure to apply in Ponte Pedreña district, according to the results of this feasibility study. Last measures in this topic are the smart ornamental public lighting for heritage preservation and the smart management service of municipal solid waste. Both measures belong to the Santiago roadmap and have received the specific funds within the innovative public purchase figure for research, development, and innovation. For subsequent implementation within municipality services. We have some best practices and lessons learned from Lighthouse cities in this slide. Regarding data and smart services, the defined measure in the strategy was the electronic administration platform and electronic processing modules. Santiago municipality is currently developing a complete transition to electronic administration and participates together with Madrid, Zaragoza, and La Coruña in a program for the creation of a transparency, open data, and engagement tool. The city aims to develop its own urban data platform once the present electronic administration is completed. And then the last topic of Smarter Together, the smart and sustainable mobility. As selected measures, we have the smart management of sustainable mobility in the historical city, measure also funded by the public procurement of innovation figure for Santiago, focuses on last mile logistics platform, route optimization, individual tracking of goods, electric vehicle with identified access and identified traceable access and parking in the historical center. The second one would be the design and implementation of smart mobility solutions, creating a package of actions based on soft modes of transport and collective mobility that conform a modification of the present sustainable urban mobility plan. As a result of the local mobility agreement, together with local stakeholders, the city has already carried out works in public space for the creation of pedestrian and cycling paths and the connections, and also the improvement of public transport service and fleet. And the last measure in this in the strategy of Smarter Together is the implementation of a car sharing service and charging infrastructure in residential areas. Testing it in the district of Ponte Pedreña as well as a pilot project to analyze its reception by the district inhabitants and also its viability, and with this basis set up a solution for future replication. This is planned to be presented during the Urban Living Lab in this neighborhood, but it still needs municipality validation. Here we can see some examples, best practices applied in lighthouse cities. Regarding the communication and dissemination of the Smarter Together project, the planning phase was already finished by month 36 with the dissemination of a booklet that displays several information and several examples of the project. Here we have the main content of this booklet. It displays innovative solutions tested and implemented in the lighthouse cities. Also the main topics of Smarter Together, the city state of the art and data regarding energy consumption, mobility involvement on participatory processes, and also possible implementation and improvements in Santiago. Regarding the execution phase, it was planned to be now under development, but it has been delayed with a program of activities that will include this Urban Living Lab, a cultural didactic event, exhibitions, and participatory processes. So this is in the framework of Smarter Together, and now talking about measures that have been carried out by the municipality and achievements, we have to talk about the Smartiago project that is currently in its implementation phase. Smartiago is a strategy to address innovation challenges involving agents of the local and regional research and development system in the process. Its main objective is the implementation of the roadmap composed by a set of innovative technological solutions in the field of smart cities, with the aim of making Santiago the first initiative that seeks efficiency and the maximum applicability of those solutions to the problems of a heritage city, so that also the results can be highly scalable and replicable in cities with similar features. This program will allow companies, universities, and other research and development centers of the local ecosystem to position themselves technologically in any field. And we have here, the total amount for the project is 7.18 million, of which 80% is directly funded by the current Ministry of Science and Innovation, and 10% is financed by the Galician Innovation Agency, thanks to the agreement they signed with the Santiago City Council. Well, as we have seen, some of the described actions in the Smarter Together strategy were previously defined in the Smartiago roadmap. This project that borns years before Smarter Together seeks to develop innovative solutions for specific, not covered needs in public services within the patrimonial area of the city. After the signature of the agreement with the current Ministry of Science and Innovation at the end of 2017, first, the City Council carries out the preliminary market consultation to check the viability and possibility of the project and the solutions. And then in this year, 2021, the public procurement of innovation contracts have just been signed with different companies to develop their innovative and sustainable solutions and provide the City Council with functional prototypes to address the main needs. This agreement is an important step for the Council of Santiago, as it is the first agreement that the ministry assigns with a local administration based on this figure of public procurement of innovation that seeks to promote research and development, to promote public investment in innovative services and products, and to promote research and innovation in companies and other centers. So once the not covered needs in the historical center and surrounded areas are identified, the 3 lines of action appear in for Santiago. They are the sustainable and intelligent management of municipal solid waste, the sustainable and intelligent mobility, and intelligent ornamental lighting for heritage conservation. 3 public procurement of innovation tenders are already signed with a deadline for implementation of 18 months, and also 2 pre-commercial public procurement tenders are in progress in the field of smart mobility line of action. The tender for the intelligent municipal solid waste collection system has been signed with the Wellness Telecom company from Seville. The solution will display 3 intelligent containers in the city center, a gamification mobile app, and a communications network. The containers will have filling level prediction, real-time waste characterization, open via wireless, and anti-vandalism systems. The main objectives in this line of action are to reach the European Union targets for recycling and preparing for use from the current 13% to the 65% by 2030. To achieve a new model of decentralized dump and treatment of the organic fraction waste, to reduce the cost and improve the efficiency of the street cleaning and municipal solid waste collection system, to reduce the kilometers and time spent in collection routes by sweeping machines, and to demonstrate the viability of citizen engagement by rewarding them through the gamification app for appropriate behaviors in waste management. Regarding sustainable intelligent mobility, the tender for the development of a smart mobility technology solution to control weight and access, and also control environmental and noise pollution, in the historical center has been signed with the VNS company TAPS Trafficom Transportation. This innovative solution will display speed reducers, weight in the vehicles, cameras, post-processing hardware, and software based in artificial intelligence systems, and a mobility management platform for visualization and monitoring. The main objectives of this measure are to rationalize the current last-mile logistic routes and services in the historical center, to improve automatic parking control access and access control, including weight and type of vehicle accessing the area, the historical area, to predict the conditions of influx of people and traffic, as well as levels of environmental and noise pollution, to reduce congestion and emissions, and to prevent the damage of the historical center pavements due to the improper access of vehicles with excessive tonnage. In addition, as we have said before, 2 pre-commercial public procurement tenders are being currently prepared in the framework of mobility for the creation of 2 public-private partnership living labs. One for the development of new modes of last-mile logistics with autonomous electric vehicles, and the other one to define and evaluate new strategies for persistent habit change, promoting sustainable mobility. And the last line of action in Santiago is the intelligent ornamental lighting for heritage conservation. The tender for the development of biostatic LED ornamental lighting for conservation of heritage facades has been signed with the Galician company Eleves. The solution consists of generating a new product of ornamental public lighting, integrating sensors and artificial intelligence to prevent the biological colonization of microorganisms in elements of high heritage value. The main objectives of this innovative solution are to improve efficiency in the conservation and maintenance of heritage elements in the historical center, to reduce the energy consumption in public lighting, and to reduce costs of conservation and maintenance by 80% annually. Leaving Santiago, other program align in terms of lines of action and goals also with Santiago and Smarter Together is the Sustainable and Integrated Urban Development Strategy, EDUCI, with some achievements already implemented in the city of Santiago. The first one in the field of energy efficiency improvement of municipal buildings. 17 buildings has been already targeted, that they are cultural, sports, and administrative centers, and carrying in them some of the actions, such as replacement of the current lighting to LED lighting, natural light input sensors, installation actions in the building envelope, monitoring management of energy consumption, self-consumption photovoltaics, installation of biomass boilers, installation of solar thermal panels, and replacement of heat pumps for variable refrigerant flow systems. Also within this sustainable and integrated urban development strategy, EDUCI, in progress action is the electronic administration platform implementation with the deployment of hardware and a website, carrying out actions such as the supply of computer equipment for the platform, expansion of the IT server infrastructure for the platform, improvement of the wireless telephone network of the council, supply of the equipment for the different printing and digitalization centers of each office, of each department, and the development of the municipal web portal for the electronic government platform. And finally, we must talk also about the City Council Housing and Refurbishment Office that continues developing its work in the field of citizen engagement and refurbishment towards an improvement of habitability and accessibility conditions of concrete areas that are called the integrated refurbishment areas. In the office, they have the Limiar platform that consists of an open list for owners with the aim of carrying out refurbishment works in their dwellings or buildings, Here, the Housing and Refurbishment Office team offers technical and legal advice and a follow-up of processing for rehabilitation subsidies and works. And also in the framework of the State Housing Plan of 2018-2020 framework, there are the subsidies for refurbishment actions in the integrated refurbishment areas that are Ponte Pedriña, Vista Alegre, Vite, and the Historical Center. These target areas have special conditions, and its inhabitants are eligible for getting specific subsidies in order to perform works aimed at reducing energy demand, reducing CO2 emissions, and increasing the use of renewable energy systems. As a requirement for getting those subsidies, they have to reach at least a 35% reduction of the global annual energy demand. So, Smarter Together gathered in a common strategy the new measures that were the lessons learned from the exchange done with the project partners and the Lighthouse cities, gather them with the current works and aims of the City Council regarding the main challenges and needs of the city. Well, thank you very much to all for joining and for joining this session. And it has been, I hope it has been interesting for you. And of course, you can contact me through City Council or FEUGA for any suggestion or question. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, Rosa, por tu
Thank you very much, Rosa, for this interesting speech and for explaining all these initiatives to turn Santiago de Compostela into a smart city. We are going to start now with the questions and answers. So let's see. We already have a question for Etienne. Etienne?
Yes.
You're there? Yeah, you're there. We are going to answer to Luis Fernandez.
of low-income neighborhoods to involve them in this smart city process.
Okay, so most of the low income people targeted by the Smart Together project in Lyon Confluence live in the social housing blocks. So it's 500 housing, social housing. We can consider that we involve them in different ways. The first way is to contribute with technical and financial support to projects that are going to improve their comfort in their daily life, in their housing. So with Smarter Together and with also additional funding we contribute to get for the refurbishment project, it's a way for them to live in a place improve for which they don't necessarily have to pay a lot or to fund most of the cost for the studies and the works. It's also taking into consideration that many people have been living in this place, in these flats for several decades, and they plan to continue to live there. So to recognize and to share the memory of the place, because many of them have been in the neighborhood for much longer than us, for instance. So one of the social housing operator decided to work with an historian and to make an exhibition in the municipal archives about the history of this social housing block with testimony, pictures of tenants who have been living there. So that's another way. There is, of course, some meetings to inform them about the retrofitting works, how it's going to take place, that kind of stuff. It's also planning in the contracts of the company and the methodology of the retrofitting works, communication channel in order that every tenant that has questions about how it's going to be organized in his housing, if he or she has any problem or any question about the works, can directly contact one or two people that can then make the connection with the workers in order not to disturb the advancement of the work, but also in order that everyone can say its words or report any difficulties. So that's another way. The idea also is to take advantage of the digital infrastructure put in place in the housings retrofitted to analyze them, but it takes a while because generally you need to collect during 1 or 2 years the data to give them a feedback about the performance of the retrofitted buildings, if it shows maybe some discrepancy or some way to improve the energy performance, whether it's in the way they manage their housing or whether the maintenance is done. So that's different angles in which we try to involve them, or at least to not to disturb too much their daily life, because retrofitting works, it's like any works, it's dust and noise, and it's annoying for everyone. But yeah, I don't know if I answer fully your question, but that's what I see as a way to tackle these issues, or at least how we proceeded in the neighborhood.
Pues muchísimas gracias, Etienne. Espero que sí, que Luis haya visto contestada.
Thank you very much, Etienne. I hope, yeah, that Luis has found an answer to his question. So let's move to the next one, made by one of the attendees, and they ask, how are the different technologies implemented in a smart city process like Smart Together communicated to the citizens? How do they see the changes? I don't know if anybody in this panel can answer, because this question is not addressed to anybody specifically. So any of you could answer. Who would like to answer?
I can answer, but Rosa, maybe you want to answer as well. I don't know.
Yes, well, you can
Rosa?
talk first if you want. In the case of Santiago, I don't have a wide experience in the housing and refurbishment office, but as my colleagues have told me, it's a really tough project tough work to really reach all the citizens, especially in this, for example, Santiago, in this integrated refurbishment areas, the ARIs, because they have very special conditions in terms of habitability, accessibility. Also, they used to be low income owners. So I don't really know how you should communicate with them. I think maybe by rewarding them, maybe by let's say make them participate and make them feel part of a whole project, of a whole solution, maybe this way. But I think at the end you must have more extent answer for this.
Yeah, if I can share a bit regarding what we have implemented, the digital infrastructure to monitor the energy performance of the neighborhood, either in buildings, either in energy infrastructure such as the district heating system or photovoltaic installation. What is important for us, it's really to have the global picture. So we don't try to get, or we don't ask individual data. It's really data, collective data aggregated at the scale of one building. So with this data, we can't draw any conclusion for if somebody is there or not there, or it's not in our interest. We just want to have a global overview. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is to be transparent in order that tenants in the buildings or owners are aware that one feature is the monitoring and the assessment, because European Commission, but also other entities that fund such project in France are interested to have a feedback on the program they support, and in order to share with them the lesson learned. But we don't necessarily, so we inform them, we get their formal approval, because the data consumption or energy consumption, even if it's the energy consumption of well buildings, belong to the building owners, meaning that they have to sign a data sharing agreement with specific information on the duration of this evaluation, what kind of entity has access to this data, what are these data, and so on. So we get the formal approval, but then we don't necessarily go too much into detail regarding the type of meters, the technology, and so on, because it's not really interesting for most of people, and it's just the process, the information, and the usefulness of such data collection. So as for us as urban developer, as an assessment of the environmental performance of the neighborhood, and for them as people living in their building, maybe a way to get an additional feedback they won't get in another way. So
Pues muchísimas gracias. Damos también por...
Thank you very much. So this question has been answered too. We have Cristina also, who would like to ask another question that may be answered by any of you, or we can do the same as we've done. One answers and then you can add others.
And the 4-hour cities. Do the other cities are involved in interacting with the project?
How was managed the relation between the lighthouse cities and the follower cities? Are the other cities involved and interacting with the project?
Hola.
Hello?
Yeah,
we can answer both. So
yeah.
Rosa, go ahead, and I will follow.
Okay. So well, we had during the project we had a very fluid participation between both between the partners, at least well, Santiago with the lighthouse cities, and also the other follower, and also there were different events during the project. Some of them were more practical. There were workshops or peer-to-peer sessions or intensive lab sessions in which we developed activities of exchange, of direct exchange, and talking about all the solutions, how we could take some replicate some of those examples in the larger cities in our cities, how we could adapt or not, and it was a constant exchange with them. But those events in which we were, I mean, together, the teams were very good for for developing this strategy.
To complement what Rosa has just said, indeed there was some common activities. So sometimes it was to share some project done or some lesson learned, but sometimes it was also the opportunity for the follower cities to get to know some experts in the lighthouse cities that can be mobilized afterwards in other bilateral exchanges. So the collaboration between and the replication between lighthouse cities and follower cities was since the beginning an important feature of the project, because there was a partner, Energy Cities, so the Association Energy Cities, in charge of this and regular assessment and deliverable to submit and to the European Commission. So that's one aspect, and that there is also the other aspect about the life of the consortium, because there are also some activity and requirements that are more related to the contract we have the European Commission and the advancement. So we had several times a year a general management meeting in which the partners responsible for the main components of the project are associated, and in which follower city can also take part. So yeah, that's the two levels, the level at the general management and also the topics, the workshop and the activities that are more closely related to what the follower cities can be willing to implement in their cities.
Pues muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much. I have a question for Almudena also. I don't know if you are there. I'm going to ask you a question.
FEUGA could involve the Galician cities in new initiatives and projects connect with smart cities. But could you also help a coordinator to look for scientific and technical partners and or companies?
Yes, of course. We could also help a coordinator to look for partners. In fact, we have an agreement with the regional government to promote the participation of the Galician universities, University of Vigo, Santiago de Compostela and A Coruña, to participate in European Commission projects. And in addition, we also represent several companies in our region, such as, for example, technology providers that could be also interested. And this is at regional level, but also at a national and EU level. As I have said, we have a wide network of collaborators, so of course we can also help to involve other partners.
Bueno, pues muchísimas gracias, Almudena.
Thank you very much, Almudena. I would like to thank the panelists and the guests who have been sharing this Smart Together project this morning and sharing all the initiatives that are being carried out in Santiago de Compostela to make it an increasingly smarter city.